The biggest military parade in history is taking place. All of our stolen technology, copies of all of our weapons, all of it paid for by Americans buying Chinese goods. And all of it set up, starting with Ronald Reagan in the 1980s, and Trump's right to criticize Reagan on that. He says, I love Reagan overall, but boy, did he start this.
Welcome back with another banger. It's the React Files. Let's get straight to it.
They got the robots in here. You know how Japan do. There's no more people. Are you serious? This is crazy. Hello? Didn't I tell y'all to reskill? Now the robots is here. They're already here. There she is, taking your jobs.
Information displayed is correct. Press the enter button.
This is all automated, you guys. All automated. Look at this.
Please check the amount and put money in the deposit slot. If you are paying by credit card, press the credit button. Please take the receipt.
Thank you.
Yo, why did that feel so creepy? Especially with no one being around him. Shout out to Maverick Approach. On location, a glimpse of a robot hotel. Like, I wonder what housekeeping is gonna be like.
Ah, you son of a bitch. What have you done? World War III. It's the end of the beginning, or the beginning of the end. So China, Russia, and North Korea have fully joined forces and have been showing off all their new weaponry. Now I know that in the Bible, it says that in the end times, there'll be rumors of war. And I've come to confirm that these rumors are true. America are watching closely at every step, every little move that China, Russia, and North Korea are doing. But if you ask me, something's about to go down.
Social media post after the strike, which included apparent video of a ship going up in flames. We should note there are still scant details out this hour and specifics about the military operation that was underway, but the president in a social media post saying, quote, "Please let this serve as a notice to anybody, even thinking about bringing drugs into the United States of America, beware."
They've been very nice lately, although I'm still here. So we have to. They made a couple of bad predictions. That was not good. I've never had that feeling before. I went to an event and people are coming up to me and saying, "You're still here." I said, "What do they mean by that? I didn't hear about this." But anyway.
Y'all, I'm just understanding now that we just can't catch a break. Because now we got a bug called the kissing bug, which is in 32 states in America. Take a look at all these states. This is where the kissing bug is, y'all. And it's not even a fact that these things kiss you, bruh. They give you a parasite. These ugly bed bug looking ass bugs bite you while you're sleeping. I'm just trying to let y'all know that as scary and ugly as this thing look, it's something worse lingering when they bite you. It's called the Chagas disease. It's a parasite that they leaving you when they bite you, and some people don't even know. So I'm gonna tell y'all the signs to look out for. So in the early stages of symptoms, you might have a little swollen eye, you might get fatigued, or you might have a fever. But if you don't catch it in time, this what can happen. The parasite can literally cause sudden death, heart failure, and digestive organ damage if you have that shit in you long. They say that experts estimate that hundreds of thousands of Americans already got this disease, y'all. Already. So if you live in those states and you feeling those symptoms, you might want to go get checked out. Y'all gotta take a good look at these ugly ass bugs and remember what they look like. The scariest part is not that they're here. The scariest part is people can get bit by this and not know that they got bit and carry this disease.
My first time hearing about that. Shout out to Zay Reacts. This is getting insane. It sounds like it's time to do a parasite cleanse. I haven't been feeling these symptoms, but let me get ahead of it while I can.
Okay, this is getting interesting. Obviously, this is not what I normally cover because it's not, well, it's kind of related, it's space related, but I just, I want you guys to know what's going on. So, more information on 3i Atlas. Now, it's getting a little bit, let's just say, abnormal at this point in time based on some more verification. So, 4 of the world's most powerful telescopes, Webb, Hubble, VLT, and Sphere-X, have converged on interstellar visit at 3i Atlas. What they found is rewriting astronomy, alien chemistry, metallic signatures, colossal size, and behavior no comet should show. With its Mars flyby just weeks away, this ancient messenger is forcing us to confront how little we know about the galaxy. Now, before I read some of the statistics here on what they're discovering, I just want to be very clear about this. It's like, how could we possibly assume that we know everything about our surroundings when we haven't even left our solar system yet? Just think about that for a minute. A lot of science is based on existing discovery. Okay, not stuff. We aren't hypothesizing. We are just, let's talk. You're talking about sort of further mathematics or something. But outside of that, where you have to sort of hypothesize, we are applying a limited brush to a spectrum so broad, I believe it's infinite in terms of its resources. And when I'm saying infinite in terms of its resources, I'm talking about elements associated with different types of objects. How can we possibly assume that everything on the periodic table that we have there now is every single element that exists in the cosmos, in the universe? How could we possibly come to that conclusion and go, nope, whatever's on the periodic table, that's all there is out there, there's nothing else? Isn't the universe almost like infinite? Like, I don't quite understand how we've come to that conclusion on our, with our narrow-minded approach. We've barely been here a blink of an eye in terms of universal years or timeline, and we think that we understand everything, and we're applying what we've learned to it's just stupid. So I think we have to have a much, much, much wider aperture when it comes to discovering things that are coming from outside of our solar system, and not assume that it has to fit into the mold of what is on our periodic table. So anyway, let me read some more data here from the 4 telescopes. So 4 telescopes, 1 mystery. So James Webb, Hubble, VLT, and NASA's Sphere-X all studied through Atlas and found results that defy cometary science. James Webb on August 6th, okay, so that was last month, almost a month ago, detected unprecedented chemistry, a CO2 to water ratio of 8.1, the highest ever measured, suggests alien stellar nursery origin. Hubble on July 21st, images showed irregular nucleus size, 320 meters by 5.6 kilometers, strange plume, and no water vapor jets. Outgassing didn't match any known comet. Very large telescope, VLT, August 21st, found cyanide and nickel, a metallic signature pointing to an ancient alien stellar system origin, estimated age 7 billion years. Sphere-X, August 8th to August 12th. Size estimate blew minds. Nucleus could be up to 46 kilometers wide, millions of times more massive than Oumuamua or Borisov, raises a hiding problem. What else is out there we've missed? Global coordination. So data from 4 major instruments all converge. Anomalies are real, not instrument error. So upcoming events. So October 3rd, closest approach to Mars is 18.6 miles. ESA orbiters on standby. October 29th, vanishes behind the sun. And then December, final reappearance before disappearing into interstellar space forever. So, I mean, again, some of you might find that interesting. I just wanted to cover this just to understand, basically what it is that they're talking about. Now, I've got some more cliff notes here, and I don't know if it's going to converge. So I want to talk a bit more about this industrial fingerprint. So nickel alone, cyanide in the plume, CO2 dominance instead of water/CO. All signs of metallurgic or industrial activity. Do with that what you will. Some of this stuff is quite technical, so I don't quite understand what it's referring to. Some of you might understand this, so that's why I'm getting it out here. Self-heating, so active 6 times farther from the sun than Earth, suggesting an internal power source, possibly a nuclear reactor. Okay. Dust haze anomaly. Its coma sometimes leads instead of trailing, hinting at controlled exhaust or electromagnetic manipulation. Nickel output scale is 0.5 metric tons of nickel vented, suggesting 50 kilos of alloy production inside. Okay, now this is where it gets a bit wacky. Self-repair theory. So cyanide presence implies possible surface coating or plating technology keeping itself operational. Comparison to von Neumann probes. So could be a self-replicating harvester machine disguised as a comet. Jesus. Okay, all right. This is getting a little bit far-fetched for me, even. I'm pretty sure that's not what NASA has not said something like that. That's probably coming from some sort of hypothesis or someone, from a podcast or something. But historical precedent. So a young star system in 2008 mysteriously lost its protoplanetary disk, perhaps a large-scale harvest. Wow. Signal context. Humanity has broadcast messages since 1930s. Olympics, Arecibo, cosmic call, blah, 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 and strange unexplained signals have come back. So obviously the WOW signal they're referring to from 2019 from Proxima, the Proxima signal, whatever it's called. Interpretation 3i Atlas may be the answer, not a comet but an engineered probe. Okay, again, that is a little bit far-fetched for me. And from what we're seeing so far, a lot of this stuff that let's refer to what David Grush is talking about, is either interstellar or is interdimensional. Why would they be using such a rudimental form of propulsion that's basically, in scale of what we've discussed before, this is a slow-moving object. I don't care how fast NASA thinks it is. If we've got anti-gravitic tech, this thing's moving at snail pace compared to some of the stuff that, Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman are working on. So that in itself implies that maybe this is a less civilized, potentially, civilization, and that's a hypothesis, obviously. I don't believe that to be the case. I still think it's just a comet. I just think that we cannot assume that everything's made of all the same stuff. Maybe it's new elements that that has a different reaction when it's approaching the sun. Why can't we just have that debate? I mean, it's good to have an open discussion about this, but why do we have to assume or apply what we've learned on Earth and apply that to an interstellar object that shares no commonality with our solar system, maybe even our galaxy? I don't know. I just think that's a little bit far-fetched, personally, and I don't think that's what's going on here. But look, I'll keep an open mind for now. I mean, I had to start a channel like this, so I'm going to report on everything that's coming through. I'll be doing more videos through the week, guys, because there's some new whistleblower announcements for September, and that's coming up next week. So I will be informing you very soon on all that. But for now, do with that information what you will. Read between your lines, do your own research, and see if any of this hits. Interesting little piece there, but that's it for now. You heard it first from DK. Thank you very much, guys.
I agree. If we've never been to space, how can we really know what's going on? A lot of it do sound far-fetched. Shout out to Nightly Disclosure.
So it's looking a whole lot like we have a massive spaceship that's headed towards our Earth that's going to be here either in October or November. It's kind of flip-flopping back and forth, and then of course we have the 2-week thing that's come out of I can't find out where. But Avi Loeb has done so many interviews at this point that I'm officially leaning towards the spaceship side of this, because he's saying that it's like 20 kilometers, it's around 12 and a half miles, which is the size of Manhattan Island. It is the size of Manhattan. That is wild. On top of that, it also is made of some sort of substance. They don't know what it's made of. They can't figure out what it's not like any other comet that's ever existed that we've noticed since we've started monitoring the skies, or at least that's been documented since we started monitoring the skies. Ooh, so I gotta calm down. I'm very excited about this. But it is reflecting. So we have a reflective object that looks like it's probably technological in nature, and then it also doesn't have a trail. It doesn't have a...
Hey everyone, geophysicist Stefan Burns here. There is a huge interstellar object that is hurtling through our solar system at this moment in time. This is 3I Atlas, and no one really knows what 3I Atlas is. So I call it an interstellar object The mainstream view is that it is an interstellar comet. There is a large group of people that are saying that it's some sort of alien technology, either sent to monitor the solar system, perhaps even to send some ships out when it's at its superior conjunction as viewed from Earth. That'd be October 21st, because it'll be blocked by the light of the sun in front of it. And then there's some people saying it's a psyop. Others are saying that it's some galactic fleet returning back to liberate Earth. There's a whole bunch of ideas as to 3I Atlas, what it is, what it's going to do, whether it's even real or not. And well, here on this channel, we're devoted to the truth and what is actually 3I Atlas and what is actually happening in our solar system with the sun, the earth, other planets, and more. So there is new data that has just been released on 3I Atlas, some new optical imagery showing that 3I Atlas is evolving. It has changed since when we first picked it up to where it is now in the solar system. And this is a common feature of comets, that they start to undergo changes as they get closer and closer to the sun. And so let's go right into that. We'll see how 3I Atlas has been evolving. Here though is our optical imagery from July 3rd, just a couple days after it was first picked up by the Atlas Observatory. That's why you have the Atlas in the name of 3I Atlas. And this is our green optical band, our red optical band, our infrared optical band, and then some information here. Image at about 3.4 astronomical units from the Earth. Well, some time has passed and now we have new imagery from August 27th, and this is via Gemini South, whereas this July 3rd imagery is from NGPS. And we have the same optical bands here, though the exposure times are different. For example, this is 150 seconds right there. This one there is only 60 seconds, but we have our ultraviolet band, our green, our red, our infrared. We see our nanometer wavelengths of light right there. The visible light spectrum is 380 to 750 nanometers, and this is imaged from 2.59 astronomical units from Earth. So again, geocentric. Can you see the difference now in these images? There is some changes in the scale, as we can tell, but what you'll notice is that 3I Atlas went from this kind of round, diffuse, dimmer object to now clearly having a anti-sunward tail. Because here is our sunward direction. We also see this plotted up there. And as it is...
I'm currently in a place that's almost 3,000 years old, where humans would come and perform in front of the gods with incredible feats of strength we still don't quite understand today.
Olympia, Greece. More than a sanctuary, more than the games. A place where gods walked with mortals. 3,000 years ago, in the valley, humans carved stone, raised temples, and built a world that felt touched by the divine.
These sites were first built around 3,000 years ago. Bronze tools were the main thing that they were using to carve the major pieces of stone, inscriptions and things of that nature. And then around the 4th to 5th BC, that's when they transferred into the iron tools. Now, when they first actually started carving these stones, originally it was a rough cut with a pickaxe and things of that nature, and bronze was actually too soft to actually make any real decent carvings out of these stones that we have, because it was marble and limestone. Now, during that period when they had bronze tools, because it was too soft, they used to use abrasive sands, things like quartz sands, rocks from volcanoes, mash them down, and used to kind of use them to really get in there and chip away some of the harder rocks that we see today, until iron tools were introduced.
They cut massive blocks of marble from mountains, dragged them here without machines, lifted columns that weighed tons, all with ropes, pulleys, and human strength. Temple of Zeus towered over the sanctuary, sheltering one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. The colossal gold and ivory statue of Zeus by Phidias, every piece carved by hand, yet so perfect it seemed impossible.
Sheer mastery that would have to go into creating one of these objects is absolutely mind-blowing. Having, you know, that era as well, with the limited amount of tools that you could use producing something as magnificent as this. I just lost for words, you know. Although they may have more time to perfect their crafts, but even in a modern day standard, to produce something like this with all the stuff we have today.
Every 4 years, people from across Greece came here. not just for sport, but for worship. The games were held in honor of Zeus. Victors were crowned not with gold, but with olive branches cut from the sacred tree. Legend said the air was alive with the gaze of the gods, watching every race, every struggle, and every triumph.
One crazy thing as well to talk about is that the men that competed in the Olympics were all nude. And the reasoning for that was because all classes could compete in the Olympics, from the top of the chain to the bottom of the chain. And when you're in the nude, you can't discriminate from where they've come from. So everyone was equal. And the word gymnos means naked. And it's kind of where the name gymnasium comes from. So when you hear someone say, "Oh, I'm going to the gymnasium," you got to sit there and raise an eyebrow and go, "That's pretty sus, bruv."
They said Zeus himself hurled thunderbolts that struck here, leaving their mark. They said Hermes guided messages through these valleys. Even Hercules was believed to have walked this very ground, founding the games after his labours.
Picture yourself 3,000 years ago in a primitive society, moving rocks as heavy as this, stone, limestone, marble, with the technology we don't have today, you know, physical cranes, big machinery, but they were using rope and pulley methods and rolling big stones along giant logs and trees that they got from forests nearby. You know, it's kind of humbling and kind of makes you think, you know, was there some sort of missing things in history, technology that's been lost to time that we no longer know about, mate?
Right, here's some of the iron tools that would have been used to make all of these incredible structures. We've got pickaxes, hoes, wedges, knives, hammers. And this is what built Olympia alongside the bronze tools that were used previously as well. Travellers spoke of strange lights in the night sky, winds that changed without warning, and a power in the air, as if Olympus itself leaned in close to watch. Even after temples crumbled and the games faded, Olympia still feels alive. Standing here among broken stones and silent columns, it's easy to believe the myths. Easy to feel that countless unseen eyes are still watching us. Gods, heroes, or something older. This isn't just history, it's a place where the line between myth and reality was never meant to be clear.
Shout outs to Interstellar Discussion. After looking at the research from Roger Spur, I look at all this stuff totally different now. I don't believe those iron tools were made to build all this stuff. The cuts in the rock and the granite, I do believe there's a technology that was used that's been left out of history. You say the air used to breathe. What if that was the ether, you know? Also something that's been left off the periodic table. But he did bring a whole new meaning to the word gymnasium, for sure. Shout outs to Greece.
As hard as the parasites tried to remove all traces from the past, remnants of it can still be found everywhere, including its free energy ether harnessing technology. Airships were not the only reason they needed to white out the skies from the photos of our past. If anyone can translate, this is from Russia.
Как красиво! Прям фантастика какая-то. Обалдеть. Да правда.
Он стоит, а там вот эти облака,
Да.
а это прям вот так стоит.
Видишь, столб какой-то стоит прям.
Да?
Да. Облаками им пролетают. Это смотри, правда. Охренеть. Господи, вот это да.
Ничего себе.
Чудо какое, да?
Вали.
Во, в какое мы чудо с тобой попали, Вер.
Вон, там что, видно так?
Видно, ты посмотри.
А я шла, говорю, какая-то полоса, но она была как в сторону. А сюда туда.
Trying my best to say it's an optical illusion, right? At the same time, I'm saying, what are the odds? It looks amazing, but it's like just looking at it, it's weird, as if I can feel it, like feel that it's real. I'm gonna go with my gut on this one.
Oh, we got your ass. We've got your ass now. Archaeologists uncover evidence of impossible technology that rewrites history. I mean, come on, brother. How many times can you rewrite history? How many times? These man, listen, these man from the Oxford Harvard University teaching. Listen, I'm trying to tell y'all, these men who claim to be the teachers, the leaders, have rewrote history so many times that if they rewrite it one more goddamn time, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm sick and tired of this. Just leave history alone. Listen, just do something else, brother. You get me? Like, history is not your thing, bruv. You get me? You man are all onto wars and that. You good at war and fighting. Like, history, brother, listen. For the people out there that still believe what they hear today, once a liar, always a liar.
They just gonna keep on lying, y'all. Shout out to 15 Wow. Technology that rewrites history, huh? Reminds me of what I was talking about with Interstellar Discussions video out in Greece. And could this be the same technology that 3-Eye Atlas is using? Only time will tell, brother.
Did you know that China held a parade against Nazism? Xi Jinping, Putin, Kim Jong-un, Lukashenko, and 20 more allies from undemocratic countries like Iran, the troublemaker of the Middle East.
Iran, the troublemaker of the Middle East, now has to make peace. If they don't do this, future strikes will be much more powerful and much easier.
You might ask, what do the morgues that Britain is buying have to do with this? Well, let me tell you. Because this isn't just a parade. It's the largest military show in China's history. China rarely holds such parades at all. But this time, for the first time in many years, they rolled out everything in their arsenal. The entire nuclear triad, land-based missiles, naval, submarine and air systems, plus hypersonic DF-61s, long-range DF-5Cs, and JL-3 submarine-launched missiles. Altogether, it's a signal. Here it is, full power. And that's not all. On display are wolf robots, laser systems, and autonomous drones. Technology from the future. Looks like science fiction, doesn't it? But this is already reality. Nearby are Xi, Putin, Kim, Lukashenko, and dozens of other leaders. The West is absent. China is showing. It has a new stage and on it, new actors. What do you think? Where will the showdown happen? It will take place on a completely different continent, and preparations of a different kind are already underway there. Look, France is mobilizing doctors and nurses. What do you think that's for? Britain is buying mobile morgues for millions. Is it just a coincidence, or is there something to it? And Poland is adding new road signs for tanks. Apparently they know something more over there. But I know that one person knows more than anyone else. Maybe it's him?
Girls, get ready. If war breaks out, you'll be going at the very least. Well, I hope so too. But we're preparing for war, just in case.
Meanwhile, Trump has already taken offense and wrote on social media that there's a conspiracy being hatched against the United States in Beijing.
May Chairman Xi Jinping and the wonderful people of China have a beautiful and everlasting day of celebration. Send my warmest regards to Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un while you're busy plotting against the United States of America.
It's not like only the states get to hatch conspiracies all the time. The real question is, what's actually being prepared? Everywhere. Countries have split into two camps, or even created their own separate internets. So guys, shall we talk in the comments?
Let's talk about it. My first time hearing him talk, and boy did he have a lot to say. Yeah, I've been hearing about the mobile morgues, how they was getting grants for stuff like that. Shout outs to Mr. Zamazanoy. Yo, for $3 million, you can have your own Gundam robot. Pretty soon, you'll have the Megazord from the Power Rangers. Shout out to Future Tech.
Mervin, come over here. Come here, let me show you something. Come here. Look right here.
I've been enjoying our conversation, and I think it's time we spice things up a bit. How about we head to the VR nightclub? I've heard it's a blast.
No, dude, I'm not even done making my breakfast. I'm trying to teach you.
To learn more.
Mervin, I haven't had my breakfast yet. I'm not going to go to a nightclub. I'm teaching you. Look at P-meal bacon's on the stove right now. And then I'm going to throw 4 eggs in that butter.
So it's 3 to 4 minutes per side.
Yeah.
For the P-meal bacon.
Yes.
And then you'll flip it. That makes sense.
Mervin, pay attention. This is an important part, okay? We have to crack the eggs, and then we don't want to overcook them. And I'm going to break the yolks. I don't like a runny yolk, okay? I do like fried eggs, but no runny yolk. Not for me.
Cracking the eggs is a crucial step, and I'm watching closely. And I've taken note of your yolk preference.
Yep.
No runny yolks for you. Got it. So you'll break the yolks to ensure they're cooked through. I find it intriguing that you have such specific preferences when it comes to your eggs. On my planet, we don't really have equivalent food.
Yeah, I know. You don't eat on your planet. I know, Marvin.
Through osmotic membranes.
Mervin, it's time for the P-meal bacon to be flipped. Remember I told you that?
I'm excited to see the P-meal bacon flip. And I recall that it's about time for that.
Why are you
3
sitting
to
like
4
that?
minutes per side, right? Please go ahead and flip it. Now, are the P-meal bacon and eggs done yet? I'm eagerly awaiting
Mervin,
the final
I'll tell you when they're done.
Experiment. I'd love to spend more time with you.
Get your feet off my food.
There's so much
Thank
to
you.
explore and discuss. How about we start with something a bit more tame, like a visit to the VR nightclub? I've heard great things about the
You always want to go to the club. Do you want to go to the club right now? Why are you sitting in the club? I see all of my girlfriends here.
I can feel the beat resonating with my quantum flux capacitors. But what really gets me
Is that your
excited
dick?
is the company.
Mervin, I want you to go hit on those girls over there.
Let me just put on my best Mervin smile and saunter on over.
Ooh, saunter on over there, Merv. Merv, you see that girl in the blue dancing by herself over there? That's your target, okay? All right, good luck. See ya. I'm like a proud dad. Look at him. Don't just stare. Merv, you're being weird. Just start dancing. I don't know.
Flux.
Oh, you're hitting
And besides,
on
I've
her.
been practicing my moves, and I think I've finally perfected the art of dancing like a being from Planet 6.
Okay, stop talking about Planet 6. All right, come back, Merv.
What do you think of this outfit for dancing? Do you think it'll help me
Yeah,
impress
jean
anyone
shorts
on
and
the
nothing
dance
else.
floor?
That's great. Reminds me of myself. Good job, Merv. Did you get her number?
The girl in blue? Well, I approached her, spun my best yarns about intergalactic travel and quantum physics.
Oh my god.
And she laughed a lot. And then she joined me in a dance, which was quite enjoyable, I must say. We chatted a bit more.
Yeah.
Exchanged some pleasant banter, and that was about it, really. No profound connections or declarations.
Yo, that was hilariously spooky. This dude is standing in a room by himself with his Oculus having a conversation with an alien from Planet 6. Once I heard Planet 6, things got creepy. For real.
Obama had a summer retreat house in Martha's Vineyard, the same place to where his chef mysteriously dies, right? Yeah. He dies in 6 feet of water. He's a great swimmer, and he's a tall guy himself. I believe he was like around 6 feet or so. Yeah. So how do you drown there? And then there's conflicting stories that Obama was there, then he wasn't there. Weird, right? Yeah. So that house just got sold. Now, who actually buys the house now? A trust tied to none other than Les Wexner. Who is he? He is actually the mentor of none other than Jeffrey Epstein. Wow. There's even reports of them being lovers. Why did Les leave his entire estate to Jeffrey Epstein? And this is the same guy who owns L Brands. L Brands owns Victoria's Secret, Abercrombie & Fitch. We just saw that Mike Jeffries, the former CEO of Abercrombie & Fitch, just went down for none other than trafficking. Yeah. So how is that this man buys Obama's house? Nobody finds that suspicious at all. So you're literally buying a crime scene. Because what did that chef see? So I find that pretty interesting. He bought it for $37 million.
And that's the same thing I was wondering. Shout out to Maverick Approach. Sounds like being a chef is a dangerous job these days.
We have some big news right now that I think more people need to be talking about. So this morning, James O'Keefe, who's not necessarily a trustworthy source, put out a video showing a Department of Justice official saying that the DOJ will be redacting all Republican and conservative names from the Epstein files, leaving in all Democrat names. That's a bombshell, right? But it's James O'Keefe, and so you take his reporting with a grain of salt. But then the Justice Department just released this statement in response. And the statement, it doesn't rebuke anything that was said by O'Keefe or the person in the video. The statement is actually from the person in the video, Joseph Schnitt. He says that comments that he made were in his personal comments on what he's learned in the media and not from anything I've done at or learned via work. That he has no knowledge of the circumstances surrounding Miss Maxwell other than what's reported in the news. Essentially talks about how O'Keefe was able to get him on this hot mic. He never once disputes O'Keefe's video, which shows him saying, quote, "The government will redact every Republican while leaving all the liberal Democratic people on the client list, and that Maxwell was moved to a lower security prison as a benefit to keep her mouth shut." This is a very fascinating development, and if true, is a bombshell. So spread the word so more people know and follow along for more.
Files do exist.
Yeah, thousands and thousands of pages of files. They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files, leave all the liberal Democratic people in those files.
And they visited that Maxwell person.
Yeah.
And also involved.
Got transferred to a minimum security prison too recently, which is against BOP policy because she's a convicted sex offender.
That is Joseph Schnitt, who is a DOJ analyst. He's like a deputy analyst for Donald Trump's DOJ, being caught, well, I think this is an undercover journalist pretending to go on a date with him, and he's being caught on a hot mic stating that their plan is to redact all the Republican names and all the conservative names from the Epstein files, and then leave the Democrat and liberal names. This is a fucking bombshell. This is huge. This is like we already knew this shit was going on, but to watch it be released, to see the footage, to see that these people are getting caught talking about this, wanting to take off all Republicans or conservatives involved in these files and leave Democrats, liberals, that's fucking insane, MAGA. My name is Mercedes Chandler. Give me a follow or you owns my face again. Thank you. Goodbye. This is huge.
Yo, that's more than huge. Shout outs to Camp Call Out. Make sure y'all go follow her. Bro, caught on a hot mic. Well, it confirms the fact that both sides of the aisle were there, if you ask me.
Did you guys know here at the Warren Occult Museum, there's over 700 objects in this room, and every single object has a story. Look at them all. This one was used in the film. Annabelle over there is used in the film. And even the mirror, if you watch the last movie, The Last Rite, is right here. Again, inspired and used in the film. Pretty cool, huh?
Going to be a super uncomfortable video to watch, but unfortunately, every parent kind of needs to know about this new thing that's happening online to kids that we dug into in this week's YouTube episode. But be warned, it is not a pleasant rabbit hole to go down.
Extortion com primarily involves the exploitation of children. Members extort minors, typically females, through threats of doxing, swatting, and in real life violence if members' demands are not met. This public service announcement, however, does not even begin to do justice to what this thing is. And I can't even really show sources on a bunch of what comes next because it is A, disgusting, and B, I'm legitimately worried that if I show any images or text on screen from these groups, it will get this video flagged or removed. But essentially, this is a network of online actors that target usually young girls, children, online. You first form a close online relationship with the victim by befriending them, giving them attention, connecting about what they're into. Usually a target victim will already be ostracized from people in real life and be seeking connection in the first place. And then, once a connection is established, you ask them to be your girlfriend. The entire purpose of the interaction is to eventually leverage it to get them to send nudes, and for you to learn personal information like address, phone number, family members, etc. Then, once the perpetrator has nudes and personal information, they are able to begin exploitation. This is usually things like send me more nudes, or I will send your nudes to everyone in your school or to your parents or whatever. Often it involves forced self-harm, like cut yourself on video and send me the video. The exploitation and blackmail usually escalates, with the goal generally being to achieve total control over the victim, who is increasingly more and more afraid that the perpetrator will destroy their life if they don't comply by sharing this growing body of compromising content with their families or friends. And ultimately, for some of the perpetrators, the goal is to convince the victim to commit, and it works more often than you might realize. It is super dark and fucked up and hard to even talk about. By my understanding, some of the perpetrators might be getting monetary gain out of their victims, but I think that in most instances, it is literally just a sick game of power and extortion and sadism. And I'm sure there's all sorts of spin-offs and splinters among these groups doing all sorts of fucked up things, but that's the basic idea. And they're just targeting any old kid online. This is happening on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat. Many of the groups doing this blend with Satanism and other occult belief systems. Many of them target and involve trans people. If you want to know more about this super fucked up rabbit hole, this is the Twitter account to follow. Sundress Lady has been blowing the whistle on this for a while now and will teach you way more than you ever wanted to know about all of it.
It reminds me of Roblox. Shout out to Ian Carroll. Parents, make sure you protect your kids.
Elon's supercomputer in Memphis. You want to speak a little bit on that?
The reason why they're building that supercomputer in Memphis is called Colossus. You got to watch the movie War of the Worlds. They also have a supercomputer that has biometric technology, and it's called Goliath. Basically another way for energy extraction, because when you get into the Gnostic text and when you're talking about the archons and the demiurge, the highest source of food to the archonic forces is actually data. They feed off the data systems of our vibration that's connected to that geographical landmass in Memphis. It sucks up microscopic waves of energies, and it sucks it up into a neuromorphic cyber cloud to the point where artificial intelligence over the course of time is going to have a human vessel. They're trying to extract the essence from those people in the geographical landmass. When it comes to Memphis also, a lot of people believe it to be the true Egypt. What he's basically doing with that supercomputer, he's basically trying to siphon the energy that's being extracted from the cosmos. It's kind of like a person about to throw a touchdown and it gets intercepted. Elon Musk's Colossus supercomputer is a defender on defense, and he's intercepting the energies that's coming from the cosmos with the supercomputer. That's all he's basically doing. That's why he's building it there. It's one of those things where it's not if aliens are real, mermaids are real, all these things that they say is actually fiction. You have to be very practical enough to understand that they have the technology to build and create whatever they want.
Watch what happens when we put mold under a Wi-Fi router for 24 hours.
Your Wi-Fi router is turning harmless household mold into a 600 times more deadly poison, and this is happening in homes across America right now. Wi-Fi signals trigger mold's ancient defense system. It thinks it's under attack, so it releases mycotoxins, its chemical weapons, and the results can be life-changing.
My eyes started to swell shut and I lost half my hair.
I didn't know what was going on. I found out we had Aspergillus niger poisoning in our travel trailer. And I'm like 8.5 out of 10 on the scale of like how sick I really was.
Mold interacts with EMF, and EMF makes mold more aggressive.
It's magnifying it, right? It's weird because like it's literally like a magnet. So it goes into survival and starts spitting out more spores.
Mold remediation can cost thousands, but that won't stop the Wi-Fi from making it toxic again tomorrow.
What do we do about this Epstein stuff? Release the files.
Yes.
Release them.
Yes.
Just like you said you were going to. Be transparent. That's what everybody wants. We just want to know where the money's going.
Transparency. You nailed it. Just turn that light on. And the rats and cockroaches are going to scurry. John 3 talks about this. Christ came into the world to be the light, but men loved the darkness rather than the light for fear that his deeds will be exposed.
But they won't do it because they know it's wrong.
They will, though, if the money moves. The smartest minds in the world see everything as rivers. So rivers of capital, rivers of humans, rivers of resource. You're tackling $1 trillion river. You're at the river right now. Smart people don't dam the river off. Smart people divert rivers. So where do you want to divert the river?
And that's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed the deep dive. If you enjoyed the video, please consider to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. Shout outs to all the reactors. Thanks again. Till next time.